What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Clock. Welcome back to the One Love Media channel hosted by yours truly, Davin Bellamy. We haven't seen you guys since the Sugar Bowl and the team meeting, but we promise you we'll have more content coming for you. Here's another episode of Off the Clock. Today we're going to dive into where the Dogs need to get better. Are they attacking the transfer portal the way we would like them to? What positions are in need? And then, of course, we're going to bring our friends over from the new SEC media to help us chime in with all college football around. But let's just start into the meat and potatoes of today's show. You know, we're a Georgia-based network, so we're going to talk about the transfer portal. What I wanted to see, what Davin wanted to see, looking at the team meeting and 13, 14 games worth of film it was just defensive line play and DB play. We all know that Russian coverage, they work together. They work hand in hand like a happy marriage. And when one is now holding up the end of the bargain, just like a real marriage, you got a problem. That's what we saw this year. The Dogs did get better in the pass rush, but we saw when Gabe Harris was out and when Ellis Robinson got hurt in the Sugar Bowl, man, we just could not play man coverage. We could not get after the quarterback. Like DeAndre Baker told you last episode of Off the Clock, Georgia defense run man. Glenn Schumann wants to run man. Kirby Smart wants to run man. And when you come from that Saban tree, your defense is usually compatible with man-to-man DBs, and your defensive coordinator hand is tied when he can't call man. And we saw that even on the last drive for Ole Miss, we couldn't play man. I mean, so the transfer portal needs to be DBs and guys that can get after the quarterback. That is needed. You know, I made a lot of excuses all year, and I raise my hand and tell you that, you know, just being biased. I'm a biased guy because I love Georgia, you know, and I was just like, sacks are NFL stat. They're not important. We're affecting the quarterback better. Just giving pats on the back because you just didn't want to be degrading. You kind of knew that these guys weren't going to turn into first-round pass rushers overnight. They needed a whole nother season that you just kind of deal with what you got. And that's what I was last year. But you're watching the teams that's in the championship right now, Miami, Indiana, and one of them teams have two guys that probably go top 25 in the NFL draft. So pass rush is not just an NFL stat. You need pass rush to close games. The Denver Broncos showed you that with Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. The Seahawks showed you that with the Legion of Boom. And I think they led the NFL in sacks that year. The Kansas City Chiefs showed you that with Frank Clark and Chris Jones. You know, the Rams showed you that with Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and Aaron Donald. So it's no coincidence that Super Bowl teams have guys that can go close the game. You know what a pass rusher is? A pass rusher is like, you know, he may be quiet all game. When you got a bad MF, he like that closer that you call in the bottom of the ninth to come get 3 outs. Quarterback doing 2-minute drill. Picture if you got a bona fide guy on that edge who knows that he's been saving this move for this moment right here. Fourth quarter, you're driving. Let me go close the game. And the reason why I can attest you to that, because I've been in those situations. So where a move has worked on a guy early in the season, but earlier in the game, and then I say, you know, I'm not going to go to that move just yet. Because this game may come down to a 2-minute. And now I'm going to go back to the move that got him for forced fumble. That was through my process of the Notre Dame game, right? Me and Lorenzo Carter didn't have 12, 13 sacks. But what we did do was we had sacks when you need them. That's why I say a pass rush is like that closer that come out in the ninth inning just to get 3 outs. I need a strikeout and 2 pop-outs and 2 pop-ups. Can you get it done? Right? So, you know, Georgia just being this so bend but don't break team defense. We get sacks by committee. Don't have one dominant pass rusher. We can't close games. You know, and just like the producer said, having a guy that can go close the game out, sack, force fumble, on a 2-minute drill when a team is driving, that's a get out of jail free card. No matter what you did the first 3 quarters, that last quarter, that 2-minute drill, that team is driving to a go-ahead field goal or go-ahead touchdown. Those are why pass rushers get paid $100 million. You know, football, I want him to stop the run. He can't stop the run. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. What's normal to the spy is chaos to the was whatever. You know what I mean? Y'all done heard enough on the team meeting. But that's cool. Defensive tackle stop the run. I pay them guys on the edges to go close games out. And we could not close games out on last minute drives on the Sugar Bowl. That's what you saw. So that leads us into the transfer portal. Scroll down. Who we got? Isaiah Cannon. Is that a wide receiver, Dennis? Isaiah Cannon, wide receiver from Georgia Tech. Go ahead. Yeah, you're on a remote island. There you go.
I mean, I don't have much to say about it, but yeah, that's the guy from Georgia Tech who transferred.
6'4", 215. What we've seen with Georgia transfer wide receivers. We can go with Noah Brown. We can go with Zachariah Branch. I don't think we're bringing in Isaiah Cannon to be number one. Just simply because we brought in Noah Thomas to be a number one, and Zachariah Branch was our great transfer guy who just took Georgia by storm. And I think you know what? Like they used to tell me all the time. They used to be like, "Yo, you go to Georgia, you do what you got to do. You'll never have to buy a dinner or a drink in Georgia again. Once you do what's right." Even though Zachariah Branch went to USC, I think he falls up under that Georgia category. Zachariah Branch good with me, and I think he's good with every Georgia fan. He can go in the meat cheese creature conference, and drink's supposed to be on the house. Wings supposed to be on the house. I don't think we're bringing in Isaiah Cannon to be a number one receiver. I think that's just not our game. That's not our game. We had to bring in right guard Dante Dowell, what the hell? Running back. I'm sorry, Dante Dowell, 6'2", 235 from Kentucky. Now, if I was to go off the data and what Georgia showed, Josh McCray, 6'3", 235 from Syracuse. I thought he should have got more carries. I don't think Dante Dowell will get the carries. Dwight Phillips coming back, Nate Frazier coming back, Chauncey Boyles coming back. We got a three-headed monster. But I do think we'll use him like we use Josh McCray. Short yardage, 6'3", 235, big back, right? Then also, this is where I wanted to see Coach Smart attack at, right? I wanted to see you attack safety, the back end. We got Jeremiah Riddle, 6 foot, 192. We got some tape on him from ECU, hard-hitting safety. In 2026, I don't really care how hard you hit, because if you hit too hard, they're going to throw you out the game. I want to see you get off that hash. That's what I want to see. I want to see you get off that hash. Sean Taylor's, Ron Clark's, those guys don't really translate no more in 2026 football. They hit too hard, the game too violent. But this is what I like right here. I like Amiri Williams, Auburn, 6'2", 260, another one of those hybrid guys. We needed help on the edge when Gabe Harris went out. It was obvious that we just didn't have the edge production that I like. Khalil Barnes, I think it's the big guy right now. Starter at Clemson. Look at the highlights right here. We see him getting down and dirty. That means he can blitz if he getting sacks. Good open field tackler. Attack the ball. And one thing that Coach Smart probably did is he came from Dabo Swinney. So he's well coached. He's disciplined. You're not getting a guy that's not a pro. So I do like this. I think he's a day one starter for us. Good ball player. If we can take out the highlights, good ball player. So when we look at this, I think Georgia attacked the areas of concern for me, preferably. I just think the front seven has to get better. Rushing and affecting the quarterback has to get better. And where's the Oklahoma guy? Gentry Williams. That's what I was missing. Do we have any highlights on Gentry Williams, man? I mean, I heard the guy stayed injured at Oklahoma, but big physical corner, something that Coach Smart likes. Let's check out the highlights right here. Okay, we see he's a good tackler. You have to tackle to be in a Kirby Smart defense. When a recognized pass, come and make the tackle, he sustain. Now, when I start hearing about guys staying hurt all the time, and they transfer from other programs, I ask myself, can he sustain the physicality that Georgia has? So I mean, that's a good class, man. You know, Georgia's only one of the few other teams that doesn't go just a complete roster overhaul when it comes to the transfer portal. Georgia does a great job, and home development talent still trying to hold on to our base courses. And I know the producer wanted to pull up the guys that are leaving for the draft. Am I correct? And we could jump into that real quick. We got guys leaving for the draft. CJ Allen. Who else? Dennis. CJ Allen's one of them. I know Big Ilgowski is number 57, the left tackle who we talk about all day on the team meeting is one of them. I think he'll be a first 2-round guy. CJ Allen will be a first 2-round guy. Christian Miller decided to leave. I think you'll probably see him get picked up by a team like the Green Bay Packers, who also like to take late draft picks on Georgia guys. I also may see him in a late round pick to the Eagles. And maybe, the Falcons will start doing some justice and drafting some Georgia players. I think Christian Miller will be a day one starter for the Atlanta Falcons inside. Also, Big 5'7". Don't want to keep calling him Ilgowski because I do want to know his name. But like I told y'all before the team meeting, I mean, this is a guy who moves so good in space that I thought he could have played power forward for Mark Fox if he was still coaching at Georgia. Good ball player, but I think all these guys are ready for the league. These are first 3-round guys, good ball players. And I think that's just going to lead us into our next segment. Next segment, we have guys from the SEC media, the new SEC media coming on. You guys gave great reviews about our show about 3 weeks ago, so we're going to chime in with those guys on the rest of the SEC coverage. And they had some power rankings that they dropped on their show that we just don't agree with on this show. Maybe it's because we biased to Georgia, but we're going to have these guys join in. We got a lot of great comments about these guys about 2 episodes ago. Randall and Hunter from the new SEC media, their podcast is taking off, man, covering all the SEC football. And we are lucky, and I'm telling you, they're lucky to have them for a second time on this show. My guys, how are you doing? And man, I love the merch.
I appreciate you having us on, and got the hats in, got some hoodies going, so we're trying to continue the ride here, the new SEC podcast, leading into the off season. But now, last episode was fun, so appreciate you having us back on.
For sure, Reno. Go ahead,
Great
man.
to be
Talk
on.
to me.
Great to be on. We've been watching the SEC all year and been having fun. As Hunter said, just rocking and rolling. Excited to be back on the show. Excited to keep rolling with you here.
Now, quick question, Hunter, man. Like, what manufacturer are you going through with the hats, man? That's my style of hats. You see, I got a 1964 Minnesota Twins hat on that I found in a DC thrift shop. So I love the throwback look y'all got, man. Please, you got to put me on that. That is nice.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. They partner with YouTube. Its company does all of it. So you just drop your stuff there and you make them. These are Richardson truckers. So it's like you get real products. So yeah, high quality
That's pretty
stuff.
That's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope. Well, look, man, we just kind of left off. We just kind of started our little show with, just saying where we wanted the dogs to find that help in, right? So I guess this tips you guys into perfectly because Hunter's an Ole Miss guy. And in my opinion, I thought Georgia needs to work on the front 7 and the back end, judging off the Sugar Bowl. More guys to affect the quarterback, more dynamic pass rushers, right? What is a dynamic pass rusher, Davin? Well, I'm glad you asked. A dynamic pass rusher is a guy that just has this thing where when I call him in the bottom of the ninth to go get 3 outs, he's going to get 2 strikeouts and a pop-up. He's going to close the game. That's what I want to see. I love good football players, but it's something about a dynamic pass rusher. That's what we were missing. That's what I think Miami has, and that's why they're there. So I'm going to let you guys boast. Talk to me about the Ole Miss. Look, rub it in, because I rubbed it in when we beat you the first time. So I'm gonna let you rub it in, man. What did Ole Miss take advantage of? And next year, is Ole Miss better than Georgia?
Yeah, look, I'm not necessarily an Ole Miss guy at heart. I'm an Alabama guy at heart, but I was riding with Ole Miss this year. I love the story of Trinidad Chambliss and following them and then how kind of they battled in the face of adversity. Now, in that game, what they did really well, something we talked about, is how you can attack Georgia deep in one-on-one coverage. And we saw
Yeah,
them
you
get
did.
a lot of those matchups that they won. Every scoring drive that they had to play over 30 yards in the air. So they were challenging deep. Whether that was to Ole Miss's credit, I think there was some poor decision making on Georgia's part, whether that's staff or player, to not have over the top help, things like that
Right.
were impacting them. But that was the real key for me, is how, one, they were able to attack downfield in one-on-one situations. They put some pressure on Georgia's O-line. I think there was some room for improvement there as well. But, again, when you have a dynamic quarterback like Trinidad Chambliss, that's where Georgia was struggling to finish the plays. They were getting behind the line, but, ultimately he was able to scramble out, extend the plays, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like what Ole Miss benefited from, and you kind of talked about this, was the fact that Georgia went away from the run. Like they did an amazing job in the second half of that game. I think only holding Georgia to about 38 rushing yards, but Georgia slowed down on their running overall, basically making it easier for Ole Miss to get them off the field.
No, I agree. Especially with you, Randall. I agree. We just stopped too much. And some people think that when you run the ball in the first half and the team stop it, that you don't supposed to go back to it. You run the ball like it's like, Stranger Things is going crazy right now, right? It's like Stranger Things, right? It's like the wall right there, and I put all this force into the wall, right? And it opened up a little bit, but it just wasn't enough, so it closed up. Then you come back later and you try to open up, and then, she finally opened it up. That's like the running game, right? Just because you stuffing it in the first quarter, just because you stuffing it in the second quarter, you're trying to break their will and wear them down, because you're trying to turn 2-yard gains in the first half to 3.8-yard gains in the second half. And I think Georgia went away from that. And like you said, Randall, made them one-dimensional. I love Gunnar Stockton, right? I think he's going to be a better quarterback next year from the pocket. But if I was a defensive coordinator and I'm playing against Georgia, I want to make Georgia one-dimensional, get them in third and long, and make 14 beat us from the pocket. The same way I talk about other quarterbacks, if I was on the other end, I would say the same thing by him. Do not let him extend plays. Keep him in the pocket and make him show us that he can run from the pocket. And then to what you said, Hunter, you made a great point. You talked about this the first time they played, but I feel like Ole Miss just couldn't take advantage of this. And actually, DeAndre Baker made a great point on the show last week where he said that Ole Miss got that same look where they clutched the game out on the deep ball, but he said KJ Bolden made the play over the top, and then he said they tried it again, and Ellis Robinson made a play on it. So those are 50-50 balls, right? Now we gambling. So now it's week 13, it's a Sugar Bowl. I'm throwing a 50-50 ball. The 50% lining up on your side week 4, now the 50% lining up on my side in week 13. So the DeAndre Baker made a great point that I didn't see, where he was just like, those are two great points of Georgia kind of the same thing. Week 4, whoa, that's pretty crazy, man. Like,
I was like, what?
The hand signals, right?
Right.
Georgia made a great job making the plays week 4. They just could not make them in week 13. So that was a great point. But it's another thing you say. It's like, why didn't Georgia have 2 people over the top? That's the same thing I asked when 15 been getting beat all game.
Yeah, because they needed the deep play. Like they were, times ticking, and where the ball's going to go. I was surprised that they didn't have some extra help there, especially on that last one to set up the field goal. So
yeah. And I mean, the theme that I've been hearing from Kirby in the past, I've been hearing from Cignetti, is just making plays in each moment. Like the game is moment by moment, and you go on the field and there's just some guys who just show up in that moment, and Chambliss just showed up in that moment. Like
he did. He played out of
sacks.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just like, I feel like those every single time Georgia kind of had him against the wall, he would just evade the pocket or throw the ball out of bounds. It was so hard for him to make a mistake or to force him to make a mistake. And that just to me is how you show up in each moment.
Dude, I think he shut a lot of people up. He shut me up. And I think of course the national media was saying it's just the same offense without Lane Kiffin. So the quarterback hears that too, right? We're going to try to be like, it doesn't phase us. We locked in, but you hear that, right? Yeah. And I think he made a point to not even saying he heard, off the clock. This is me just being honest. He shut me up. I won't say nothing bad about the guy. He's a baller. He has a fan now, and I'm rooting for him. But all right, y'all think it was him? I'm the one out here throwing it. And that's what you said, Hunter. And I think he took that personally. When I seen him, Georgia ran a corner blitz. Great call by Glenn Schumann. The ball's on the left hash. We're going to run a corner blitz from the short side of the field. That's the shortest distance from point A to point B. My cornerback on the short side of the field. The quarterback is here. We're going to go hit him, right? Chambly saw that, spent around, ran 10 yards backwards, and then delivered the ball on 3rd and 9. When I saw that play, right, when he made a DB, who's probably going to be a first-round corner, no later than second round, depending on how he run, at 6'2", 183, Dalen Everett. When he made that guy, miss and can't change direction, he made that ball on 3rd and 9, I said, oh, it's going to be a long day. He in a zone. It's the last drive of Notre Dame. It was cloudy. I feel like God took over my body. I was in a zone. When I replay that play in my head, it's just like God took over my body. And I don't know why I hit his hand so perfectly at the right time. But at that moment, it was so slow. It was so slow, like a dream. When I think about it now, it was like a dream. How slow his hands were. I was in the zone to close it out. When I saw that guy spin back around on 3rd and 9 and run 20 yards backward and run towards his non-dominant hand and throw a bomb like that, I said, this guy's in a zone right now. And right now, today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not yesterday, but today, it's going to be hard to beat him. And he showed that, man.
Yeah. It's some of the intangibles, the coaching plays into it, you coach up some of those things and you can practice it. But at the end of the day, the player is the one who makes a play like that. It is improvised. So you can coach it up as much as you want.
Sure.
But you see guys make plays, some of those playmakers that don't have great coaching. We saw Taylor Green make a bunch of those this year at Arkansas with kind of subpar coaching that was let go. Guys that are able to use their legs and decision making, and when you got it, you got it. So I think he'll be good. At the next level. We'll see.
I think so too.
He's suing the NCAA right now, so we'll see what happens.
Really? Nah, he don't need to do that. Randall, what do you see him at next level as?
They said it on the broadcast. He reminds me of a Russell Wilson. He runs when he needs to.
Yeah.
He's slippery, but he's better in the pocket. I think he had 22 touchdowns last year, 3 interceptions. That's super low.
Super low.
Four
that's Aaron Rodgers.
Touchdowns. Yeah.
MVP year numbers, 40 and 3. So that's pretty damn good with SEC. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I mean, he's a small guy. He's probably 5'11", Hunter, I would say. So that's not to his advantage, but you're seeing it work with Bryce Young. You've seen it work with Drew Brees. So, if he was to declare or has to, I would say, third to fourth round.
I like that. What team do you think?
He'd be better.
Because somebody be bringing him in as a backup. My opinion, I like that. I do like that. If Mike Bedane was still there, I would say you are absolutely right. I do like that. You got these quarterbacks like Caleb Wilson. What's his name? Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah. Caleb Williams plays like that too. He kind of rolls out.
Yeah, for sure. I can see him being with all the injuries that Jaden Daniels having. Do you think
good one?
Cliff Kingsbury may say, let's take this guy in the 3rd or 4th round as a backup? I do like that. What you think, Hunter?
I can see it. I mean, it depends on, we saw the Seahawks last year take Jalen Milroe late to kind of be a backup
For sure.
to create
Yeah.
to have a guy who has legs to if you ever wanted to go that play style. Not saying that they're similar. I say that Chambliss has a much better arm quarterback mentality, but some of those West Coast teams, 49ers maybe, see what happens with the longevity of quarterback
Boy, you just hit
situation.
one of those. Yeah, that
Yeah.
West Coast system. I can see him, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike
Sean
McDaniels.
McVay, Rams be another good one.
One thing I like about him is his baseball background, right? What I've learned is the best athletes in the world are baseball players, in my opinion. And if you have kids out there, right? If you got a little boy, make sure you play baseball first. I don't give a damn if he want to play basketball, golf, swim, polo, equestrian. Make him play baseball. The hand-eye coordination is crazy, right? Baseball players make the best athletes, right? Because they grow up tracking the ball this small. And then if you want to play football, you tracking the ball this big. You want to play basketball, you tracking the ball this big. So once that hand-eye coordination builds from a baseball, that's why y'all want your kids to play baseball. It's because they build hand-eye coordination where they got to catch this something small and everything is moving fast. They make the best athletes. Their hand-eye coordination is amazing. He has the baseball background like Kyler Murray, right? And then it's talking about, and can they get that paper? Fully guaranteed contracts. No lie, no lie. No, agreed. But I like his baseball background. Remind me of Kyler Murray. So that means like when a player is a baseball player, his head and eye coordination is like crazy, right? What separates high school from college is game speed. What separates college football from the NFL is game speed. If a guy has a baseball background, his hand-eye coordination is amazing. So everything is slow. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, look at a guy like Jaden Daniels. He looks like he played baseball. I don't know for certain, but
for sure. He looks like
mannerisms, like I can see him playing shortstop or second base.
For sure. But I just remember them talking about on the broadcast, and I had said this in the team meeting even before they even said it. You could tell by his style of play he was a shortstop. Yeah. And they said that he was shortstop. Russell Wilson, shortstop. Kyler Murray, shortstop. So quarterbacks that are undersized, I think NFL scouts have this little secret. Like, if they are undersized, but they play baseball,
could be something there.
When you watch the dude roll to the left and how easily his shoulder mobility and labrum is, it's like, dude, like, I became a big fan of him at Georgia, right? And I think that leads us to right here, to y'all power rankings, right? Interesting power rankings. Can we pull the power rankings up, please?
Hunter, you want to kick it off?
I can kick it off a little bit. I think there's some here that are obvious fits, and then there's some that maybe could be reordered depending on what you value in a team. I think I'm going to stand by 1 and 2. I think that Ole Miss in the Georgia games, the two that we got to see, I think, one team got the better of the other on any given day. This is just how I see it based on even the way Ole Miss looked in the game against Miami. So I got them at 1 and 2, but I think 3, 4, 5, 6 is that the one that a lot of people have kind of trouble differentiating between from a power ranking standpoint. To me, I feel like Alabama, even though they didn't play their best at times, they're getting very harshly graded on what happened in the Georgia game, the Indiana game. Georgia's a very good football team. Indiana, one of the best football teams that maybe we've seen. They're doing their thing. So I think that they're complete when they can play a complete game. Then everyone kind of shuffles in behind that.
Yeah, when you look at Texas beat Texas A&M this season. We've seen Texas play really low, lose to Florida. We've seen Texas play up and beat Oklahoma, a playoff team. So we put Texas at 4, and then A&M. When you really take a look back, they played Miami the best of any team in the playoff. They were a red zone stop from score. If they score in the red zone, they were going to win that game or tie it at least and be playing Ohio State in the next round. So, I mean, A&M, they only had 2 losses this season, and they were to Texas and to Miami, who's now in the Natty. So that's why we had A&M at 5.
Okay. I think I know y'all watch First Take. The list is fluid. Like, well, like I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I think Texas should be ahead of Alabama simply because um, Archie Manning showed in the bowl game that he's, in my opinion, taking the next step. And then I do think also them getting the guy from Auburn, the top rated receiver,
Sure.
in the portal is very important. So now you got a Archie Manning who now he's used to it. He's like LeBron. He's used to the hate. He's used to the mean tweets. He's used to the comments upon my pictures. He's used to the underrated. Like at this point, like I just saw that when it snapped in here, the bowl game. I'm saying I'm watching this kid. This is his first year taking the reins. Thank you, babe. It's his first year taking the reins. It's like, nervous, got all this pressure. But you come into this year too, and I think this guy is going to be focused. They having the Heisman favorite again. I agree. Adding in Cam Coleman, I put him above Alabama because why? I know Ford got a starting quarterback coming back. Todd Simpson going for the draft. I don't care about stars. I'm old school. I got to see what you're doing on the tape. I don't know what the backup can do until he show me what he can do, right? So I'm going to move Texas above Alabama just because the unknown at the quarterback position. These stars do not matter no more. All these guys got to do is go to camp and post nice highlight videos, and they get ranked 5-star, and they throw some NBA YoungBoy on it and do a backflip. After they throw a touchdown, they're going to rate them a 5-star. So I ain't even worried about that no more. And I'm going to say this right here. When it comes to 2-1, I agree. When it comes to this, the same thing I say about Texas, why I put Texas above Alabama, the same way I put Georgia above Ole Miss. I know that Gunnar Stockton will be better. I know that reps make you better, right? And I know that this was his guy first year starting. Okay, he played out of sight, out of mind sometimes, but then he showed where he lacks in the Sugar Bowl. Can he win in 3rd and 8? Can he win in 3rd and 7 and plus? Can he do that when can Gunnar Stockton beat you when everything isn't being ran like a well-oiled machine, right?
Ole Miss we saw it against Tennessee. We saw it against Ole Miss the first time. So
we did.
He definitely has it.
The difference between a player of being a great player and a good player is doing it all the time, right? If you can do it against Tennessee, I need you to do it against 3rd and 8 against Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl when the game on the line. Right, so that's why. But I do put Georgia above Ole Miss because Georgia gets their starting quarterback back, and Georgia retention of their roster was huge, which by only being a 10% portal team. What does Ole Miss have guaranteed coming back where you guys have them number 1?
I was looking at end of year with this, just the end of year.
It's kind of snapshot. It's like a snapshot of everything this past season. And so it's one thing I take from you is, you could probably speak to this, right? Like the difference, you look at this top 8. I think I want to say 6 of the 8 teams had a first-year starter. Georgia had a first-year quarterback. Ole Miss had Trinidad Chambliss. Alabama had Ty Simpson. Arch, first-year starter. A&M obviously had Marcel, but that was still Marcel only played half a season. John Mateer was a first-year starter in the SEC for Oklahoma. Vanderbilt's the only one of these two. Vanderbilt and A&M were the only 2 that had their quarterback back for the second year. Obviously, Pavia. What does that do for you? You're in the Heisman discussion. Of these 8 teams, some of the best quarterback play came from A&M and Vanderbilt and Ole Miss. So I think what I'm excited about for next year is how many teams have returning quarterbacks. When you look at the rankings for this year, it was a lot of first-year guys. So you could probably speak to this playing in the SEC. Like, what does the speed feel like when now that you have a year under your belt and you're in your second season?
Slows down. So it slows down. The guys that are going to these schools are future NFL players. They have the size, weight, and speed. If they didn't have that, they wouldn't be here. So once it clicks in your brain that, all right, I can play at this level, let's do it, right? And that's why I kind of like the last conversation we had about baseball players. Baseball players make the best athletes simply because their hand-eye coordination is better, so the game is always slow to them because they have to track a 99-mile fastball. So body's moving is slow. So you take that same thing I'm saying in that and put it in this. Year 2 for a guy is finally slows down for him. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Absolutely. No, I definitely hear you. I mean, I can see it slowing down. You saw it with Marcel Reed and the jump he made. I completely agree with you. I think Arch, I feel like he had inflated expectations because of his last name. I'm excited for what he's going to do next year after beating Michigan, after beating Texas A&M at the crib. He's going to be really good. And like you said, adding Cam Coleman doesn't make him any worse either.
Yeah, bro. They added the best receiver in, we could say, college football next year and paired him with a junior year Archie
I
Manning.
don't think a lot of people really got to watch Cam. Auburn didn't play a lot of meaningful
They didn't,
football.
and they had terrible quarterback play.
And they had one of the worst quarterbacks in the SEC.
And yeah, terrible. So he wasn't getting the ball, but the plays he was making. So let's talk about this weekend, guys, right? We got this weekend coming up, man. We got Indiana versus Miami, right? I'm just going to tip it off to you guys. How are you feeling? Which way are you leaning? And why?
Yeah, big game. I mean, it's a trench game between these teams. Like Mendoza, Heisman winner. There's a lot of talk there. It's a trench game, and if you watch Miami football and you see the hype around that, it's there for a reason. Even though Ole Miss sedated it a little bit between Reuben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, that's pressure that Indiana's O-line has not faced. It's just the matter of fact. So how do you stop that? And then on the flip side, you got a really good Miami O-line, but you got a defense for Indiana that's impossible to move the ball against. I mean, especially if you're playing real patient 15 play, 16 play drives like Miami does. So it's a game of chess for sure.
Yeah, what I think is interesting in this matchup for Miami versus Indiana is Indiana hasn't seen a rushing attack like Miami has all playoffs. Like Alabama had no running game. Oregon, they were down a couple running backs. Miami's one of the best running teams in the country.
For
Mark
sure,
Fletcher,
no
He
doubt,
had like
no
100
doubt.
something yards last game. So I'm interested to see how that goes. And then Miami's one of the best teams in the country when it comes to not giving up sacks. Carson Beck, he doesn't have he can, as you always say, like, sit back there, light a cigarette. Like he can
Smoke
literally
cigarette,
grow
bake
burgers,
cakes.
right? He doesn't get touched. His jersey was all white last game. They're wearing all white jerseys this game. So what he's able to do without pressure with Malachi Toney, with CJ Daniels, it could be tough for Indiana, seriously.
Nah, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm done betting against the Indiana spread. I've lost about 3 spreads to Indiana. The first time I tried Indiana, they had a 38 spread. Bavana gave them 38 points against UCLA. And I said, you know what? That's going to be tough to cover 38. And they blew it out the water. And then I tried them again against Bama. They blew me out again. And then they tried them again against Oregon. And they blew me out again. So I'm done. Personally, and my pockets are done betting against Indiana. I will be all money in on Indiana, whatever the spread is. I think Curtis, I'm going to do it again, Dennis. I'm finna name the LA Clippers player. I think Curtis McGay, I just think he is Nick Saban on steroids. What he is able to do with 3 stars and 21 and 22-year-olds and misfits is crazy, right? And I love Nick Saban, right? But man, Nick Saban did that with Ronaldo McClain, Julio Jones, AJ McCarron, Derrick Henry. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Ruben Foster. This guy is able to motivate 3 stars that are 21 and 22-year-old, 50 years from JMU. He's getting transfers from everywhere. If you just fit the size profile, the character profile, he just say, I just need you in my building and I'll make it work. And what he's doing with Indiana, but if Indiana wins this game, they will be undefeated, right? Every other team that has went undefeated did not have to go through a 12-team playoff. This will be the first undefeated team. Right? Look at the camera. This will be the first undefeated team to win a national championship in the playoff era. Do you know how hard that is? With injury, right? Complacency, jealousy. Because when you start winning, everybody think it's me. The coach think it's him. The quarterback think it's him. The O-line think it's me. Nah, it's the defense side of the ball. The defensive coordinator think it's him. Offensive coordinator think it's him. And then shit just starts seeking in. Jealousy starts seeking in. Like, you know what? The OC think it's because of him, but it's because to DC. The O-line think it's because of them. It's the it's the D-line. Ain't the cornerbacks. Without us getting sacked, y'all ain't. Without us get that. When that started seeping in, that's why I look. They told that dude, they say, how did you keep them so focused? Say, I ripped their ass. You're not good. Right? And that takes me back to, I love doing a little story time. Right? Like I told Dennis, Georgia, we didn't watch the college selection show. If I'm a coach, why am I have all my players sitting in the room and watch their name get voted and everybody cheer for them? Right? Everybody in the room may not be humble. You watching that? Oh, we got picked number one team. That go to people's head. That's why people don't understand when you got a coach like Saban, Smart, Curtis Sinetti, Bill Belichick, to where they get in this mental, it's hard to change human nature. You dig what I'm saying? So the fact that he can keep this team so humble, healthy, backups ready, to the point where if these guys win this week, they will be an undefeated national championship team with 5 stars, with 3 stars, 50-year guys. I think, in my opinion, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's the beautiful thing about life. I think that's the greatest coaching job in college football history. It's easy to go with the BCS. It's hard to go undefeated with the playoffs.
And you talk about those coaches, right? You talk about Saban, you talk about, even Smart. It all starts at the quarterback position. All of those schools, they've never had a quarterback that was very egotistical. Like Stetson Bennett wasn't egotistical. Jacob Eason, all these guys, you look at Alabama, they've won some awards, Mac Jones, Bryce Young, but it was always about the team. And it's like, how can you have an ego when you have a guy like Mendoza who talks more about his family and his team than anybody else?
Right. Before you time in, Hunter, Dennis, please pull this up, and we're going to write to Hunter, after this. Pull up the transfer portal retention where it shows the data of teams using, XYZ, going to the transfer portal. And I want Hunter to chime in on that of do you think transfer portal is balancing out or is still building and recruiting guys the right way from freshmen on up to juniors? Is that the right way to go? So we got this right here, right? So we look at this. Yep. Transfer portal roster breakdown, right? Ole Miss is at 65 per damn. Almost 70% of their roster is transfer portal, dude. You got them guys number 1? But you said that was right now. That's tough. How do you feel about the transfer portal right now? Georgia has the lowest percentage, if I'm not tripping, at 10%, meaning like we're still trying to go the old school way. How do you feel about the transfer portal? Like, you talked about Stetson Bennett. He was a 22-year-old quarterback. You're talking about Mendoza, transfer portal guy. These you talk about Mendoza. These quarterbacks that are taking their team deep. Carson Beck. They are transfer portal guys. So if you were a coach, which way would you lean?
It's really a balance, not to fence ride, but you look at some of the guys who have been successful in the transfer portal and some who have not. The ones who have been successful in the transfer portal era are still guys who got good development from the programs that they were at. These guys who bounce around schools, they haven't really clicked. You've seen it with multiple receivers who go to different schools, but where Indiana, high transfer school, a lot of those guys were still developed. Those 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 stars, no stars, developed by Cignetti at JMU, followed him on over so they could continue that development. I mean, so you see some of those 2-3 stars that are flying around the field like Aiden Fisher that are, playing so hard because they have that chip on their shoulder. But you see some of these guys, one school after another, like that, because they're not getting that development, it's not working. So if I was a coach, I would be looking more at high school. I think that's where I would put my eggs in that basket, unless you're finding guys who have had good development from key programs, guys who maybe spent 3 years at Georgia, spent 2 years at Oregon, spent 3 years at Indiana now as they become a top program. So that way you're getting guys who don't need they don't need immediate development at your program, but have got something along the way.
So can you rely, and then Randall, this leads you into this, can you rely on the transfer portal or the old way to still win you a national championship? Where do you lean?
I think you got to recruit at the high school level well in the trenches. It's always going to come down to that. These two teams have the best defensive lines. They have the best offensive lines. That's why, Jordan Seaton just entered the portal for Colorado. People are thinking he's going to get north of $6 million. It's hard to find good linemen. I think for the skills guys, you got to go with the portal. You got to go pickpocket somebody from Kentucky or from, Ole Miss or one of these other schools. And that's what we see right now. The second best receiver for Miami is from LSU. The best receiver from Alabama last year was from Miami. The best receiver from Georgia was from USC. Like you got in Zachariah Branch, you got to go to the portal and get some of these skill guys and running backs and quarterbacks.
You know what? You guys know what the hell you're talking about, because you said that DJ Lagway was going to Baylor. Great research on you and your journalism. That is fucking tremendous. Like how you even, like you said that, and we're going to pull a clip and we're going to tag you guys in that of the last episode where you said that. That was like almost 3 weeks ago. That is amazing journalism. And that's why I tip my hat out to you, and you guys are going to be great in this business. And that's why Dennis love you guys, because you guys' research is amazing. For you to call that 3 weeks in advance, right? That's pretty good journalism, and you pat yourself on the back. And if I'm not mistaken, Hunter, did you say Levitt was going to LSU?
I said that one. I was a little bit more confident there. I mean, he was the highest rated prospect, quarterback once he, left Arizona State and kind of started making those rumors swirl. And like, who better for Lane to go get? But Lane's been tearing it up. I didn't think he would get the other two that he got as well. So yeah.
So who are the other two? I mean, like, look, man, look. We focus on that red and black, man. Look, who's the other two?
Well, I mean, Lane Kiffin's kind of shoving teams in lockers right now because they also went out and got Hassan Longstreet from USC. But you got teams like Tennessee and Miami who are like struggling to find their quarterback for next year. Lane Kiffin's here stockpiling them, down in Baton Rouge. So Tennessee's kind of out of luck right now because I think that would have been Hassan Longstreet would have been a top prospect for like Miami or Tennessee.
Now, how are you guys feeling about Dylan Raiola transferring to Oregon now? Down, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back too, because I did say that he was gonna go to a big brand.
Yeah.
He just seemed like a big brand guy to me. Like he cares about his brand. He went to Jordan, Oregon, primetime games. Nebraska just wasn't giving me that. It just Phil Knight, Nike, Jordan, LeBron, just not giving me what my brand perceives as I think he is. How do you feel about his guy? I mean, this is the question I'm throw to you guys, because I really want to know your opinion on this, because this is my opinion, right? And we were having this argument in our group chat, debating our argument about this, right? They say he's okay with being the backup, right? It's cool. But it's a competition, in my opinion. If the guy goes out there, this is my opinion. If he goes out there and outperforms Dante Moore in camp, they're going to let Dante Moore start, right? But in my opinion, this is looking like a Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams situation where you go out there and you start. I understand we said we got Dylan Raiola, but and everybody keeps saying like, but Dylan Gabriel, Dante Moore went behind Dylan Gabriel. Look, Dylan Raiola right now, like, I know it's cringy, but his Patrick Mahomes thing, the copycat, right? He makes similar plays and it has him as a top-rated quarterback when he comes out. So, like, us on the outside can he-ha, he's copying him. But in my opinion, it reminds me of Kobe trying to copy Jordan from all the way to how he walked and how he chewed his gum. If you're going to copy somebody, copy a GOAT. Yeah. And this guy, if Dante Moore what do you think? Do you think he's truly the backup all season and Dante Moore is the guaranteed number one overall pick for next year? Or do you think it's an honest competition if things go south? Dylan Raiola going in.
What do you think?
I mean, part of me feels like if Dante Moore was really confident that he was ready for the NFL, he would have declared. So if he's not ready, that means he needs more development, and that's absolutely an opportunity for Dylan Raiola to win the job.
Right.
I'll say I think there's going to be fewer opportunities for Raiola to overtake him throughout the season, for Dante Moore to make mistakes. The kind of offensive style that he's played in, more conservative, not necessarily like a Superman quarterback style to where there's room for injuries, room for, horrible performances. It's going to be less opportunistic for them to find themselves down 28. Hey, let's throw our backup in. So it's going to have to be like a camp battle for him to win that. I don't think it's something that will progress throughout the season. I don't think Oregon will fall enough to where they need to go with another guy.
My opinion, yeah, that's kind of I was looking at. It had to be a camp thing. But do you think, if he outperforms him at camp, do you honestly think they'll give him the spot with Dante Moore, particularly coming in next? You know what? Dante Moore may have lost himself some money because Archie Manning is the number one overall quarterback coming off the board next year. And I don't give a damn how Dante Moore played. The fact that his last name is Manning, he will be the first quarterback off the board next year. Did Dante Moore lose money?
I mean, I was reading somewhere that, first round quarterbacks on average, they get about 20 to 30 million guaranteed. So even if he came back to Oregon to make $4 million, you left potentially $26 million on the table.
And there's not that many good quarterbacks in this draft right now. Like he was going to get his name called.
He was going to be, yeah.
I mean, I know that's
almost number one. Mel Kiper had him number one, and I think Todd McShay had him number two.
Yeah.
But Mel Kiper had him the number one quarterback on the board. They're not, no NFL team with the last name Manning is going to draft Dante Moore over Archie Manning if he comes out next year. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
It's still an entertainment league.
It's still entertainment. Like that last name that is a Kennedy last name when it comes to NFL, especially at the quarterback position. I think he should have left this year because, I mean, damn, bro, like Archie Manning will be the first quarterback off the board. I can guarantee you that because they don't have to answer the what ifs. How's his family? Is he disciplined? If we give him money, will he party and not play ball? Is he smart? Can he read coverages? I mean, the guy, granddad, is Archie Manning, and his uncles is Eli and Peyton. They know he's been in the camp. So the what ifs are already answered with this kid. So once you decide to declare for, I'll come back another year and you declare for the draft, Dante Moore's family still got to be investigated. Does he come from a single parent household? What is dad doing? What is cousin doing? All that. We already know that about, Archie Manning. Yeah. And we know he's probably has a more NFL mind. Some players are more NFL ready than they are college ready. Like, it's like college basketball too. The guy that just went to the Sixers, right? The top pick that went to the Sixers, that's balling. The guard. I don't know if you guys watch basketball, but the guard. From the Sixers. But he just said in college, you gotta run plays. It's like compacted. In the NBA, it's 5 wide. So some people games are more built for the pro level, and I think that's what is with Archie Manning. But nah, man, I think that's pretty crazy, man. No one's kind of talking about Gunnar Stockton right now. Like, what improvements do you want to see out of Gunnar Stockton in 2026? And why isn't anybody talking about him when he's on his A game? He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football.
I think you could take snippets of his game at any given time and call it NFL ready. I think for next year, you just want to see those snippets exist throughout the entirety of the game, whether that's pocket passing, decision making. Georgia has had weapons that have kind of outclassed a lot of their opponents at times, especially from the tight end position for the past few
Agreed.
years.
Agreed.
So when you get to the NFL level, you find yourself fewer mismatches. So I feel like for the NFL, you're going to want to see the consistency come from the quarterback and not the players around him, because the NFL, everybody's good. So that's what I want to see, consistency from the pocket from him next year.
You kind of saw that drop off. You kind of saw that drop off with Beck, where it was like when he was throwing to McConkey and Bowers, it was like, I mean, they're going to do their thing. Obviously, the season afterwards was a little bit down. From Stockton, I mean, I just want to see him continue to progress. Like, I thought he had a great first year starting. His running game is solid. Just more like kind of complex routes that he could throw to. I kind of want to see that. I really don't see much in his game that, like, there's room for improvement, but I don't see the glaring holes.
I got you. I like that. Well, I guess the last thing we got for you guys, if we can probably pull up the spread this week. I know my man Randall is if you need picks, man, tap in with him. $5.99 a month subscription, man. He got a Discord, man. His picks are crazy.
First place in college football pick'em right here. So
damn. Well, can we put up the spreads, Dennis? Let's get some spreads. Let's get some scores, and let's see if we can win some people some money today. I guess we're gonna say the best for last. Randall, you go last. Hunter, what you thinking?
I'm gonna take Indiana. I can't ride against them. Right now, they're too hot, too strong. I think anyone talking too much on the D line for Miami, while they get the praise, Fernando Mendoza can evade pressure pretty well. It's something you don't think about his game being, but 274 scramble yards on the year. He can get out of the pocket, get some first downs.
Sorry to cut you off. Who do you compare him as? I mean, he may be the number one overall pick. Who do you compare him as? Sam? You think it's Sam Bradford?
I think he's got a little Jared Goff-ness to him.
I like that. I haven't heard that one. I like that.
Yeah, because you see Jared Goff every once in a while. If he does feel that pressure in the pocket, he can kind of move a little bit laterally, get a couple extra yards, fall forward. Kind of that captain of the team. He has that energy. So I think Mendoza has that. I don't think he gets shaken by pressure too much. So that's where I see him in this game. Yeah, Miami's going to get home a few times. That's just the way that they play ball. But at the end of the day, what the DBs are going to do for Indiana, what the run defense does, they're going to put Miami in third and Beck when Miami wants to be in third and Fletcher. So that's how I see this going. Beck's not going to be able. Beck's not going to be able to do it against this defense. Jamari Sharp, D'Angelo Pons, Davin Boykin. I got 34-17 Indiana.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, Randall, what about you? First, Randall, your quarterback comparison, because we are talking about the number one overall pick. Now that Dante Moore said he's returning, and a score prediction from the gambling god himself.
I mean, I'm similar to Hunter. I'm not bringing anything interesting. Jared Goff went number one overall. They're both tall, both lanky. Kind of have that long release. Very cerebral. I feel like his
cerebral, I like that word. Yep.
Cerebral. His mental, I would compare it to. I go back to a Russell, like a prime Russell. He's just very focused on football. Good person, good guy. And then for the game, I mean, I think it's an 8.5 spread. Not many teams have been able to keep up with Indiana. I think Miami covers, but I do think Indiana wins. I'm gonna say 28-20. I think Miami covers.
If I'm thinking with my wallet, I'm 0-4 against Indiana against the spread. But if I'm thinking from a football mind, I think this D-line, man, the D-line can change the game at any point. I think Miami has that. So if I lose my money again, then I think I'm going to take Miami spread. I agree with you. Randall, you took 34-17, right, Hunter? So you think they cover?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 2-1. 2-1 right now. And let's see how that goes, man. But once again, we are off the clock, and I really appreciate the guys from the new SEC media. Like you've noticed in this episode, these guys know their stuff. Some of this news that's coming out now, they called it 3 weeks ago. when we have these guys on. We respect their journalism, and that's why we speak so highly of them. Saying you'll see these guys everywhere on your TV channel in the next couple of years, man. Welcome. Sorry, dude, not welcome. We out. Off the clock. We off the clock. Look, we got the Bellamy. I don't know if you can see it.
There you go.
I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
We got the Bellamy Cup, so we off the clock. So I got a little spin about. Love these guys joining us, man. Please let our audience know where they can find you guys, Instagram, YouTube channels, Twitter handles, and whatever, because you guys got great content.
Yeah. The new SEC podcast on YouTube, posting a lot of SEC football content about every team, transfer portal. Going to start doing some look forwards to next season, some all-season draft stuff on Instagram, the new SEC media, posting a little bit there, so be sure to follow us. Really appreciate being here, Davin. That's always fun talking ball with you.
Yeah, and then for for our people that are driving in cars, working out, we're on Spotify, New SEC Podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, New SEC Podcasts. So wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us there as well. For
sure. If you like these guys, if you love these guys and want to see more of us do more of this thing, you know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe, leave it in the comments, and we'll make sure we keep giving you guys this dope content, man, as this season goes on. Man, I really appreciate you guys for joining us. Off the clock, appreciate the new SEC media. They're going to be on top soon, for sure. We out, man.